evening. I'm Laura Painter. You're watching ABC10 Tonight. A bittersweet day in the Bay. After more than 5 decades, the A's played their last game in Oakland. Plus, Sacramento State announces big plans for a new football stadium and surfs up. We're hitting the back roads to learn the origins of surfing in California. ABC10 Tonight starts now. Today, we start with the end of an era.
Yeah, take a look. Fans of the Oakland A's said their final goodbyes, even taking some dirt from the field today. Keep in mind the team has called Oakland home for 57 seasons.
The A's closing out their homestand against the Texas Rangers today. Their next home game will be in West Sacramento at Sutter Health Park, April 1st, 2025. As the team waits for their new stadium in Las Vegas.
And so we have team coverage on this emotional day in Oakland. ABC10's Kevin John has a closer look at their final home game. But we start with ABC10's Devin Truby. She has reaction from fans.
Bittersweet and historic moments. Only 2 fans rushed the field and some green smoke bombs along with toilet paper were thrown. Fans also broke off the cup holders off the Coliseum seats to take a little piece of history with them. The Athletics taking the field for the last time at the Oakland Coliseum.
Crying thinking about it. I cried once I got off the BART.
Parents partaking in parking lot traditions one more time. For some, it's more than just losing the team, but their connections.
This is where you get together with all your family and friends. Besides, birthdays and funerals, baseball is where it's at.
Fans wrapping themselves in Cell t-shirts and flags, using it as an armor as they brace for this emotional day, the 4,493rd final regular season home game. 57 seasons in Oakland, 4 World Series. Dating back to 1968, the A's best baseball has been played here. The swinging A's in the 70s, powerhouses like Ricky Henderson in the 80s, Moneyball, and now the end of the era. Fans in the stands with black roses saying it feels more like a wake, trying to have a good time and remember their milestones.
For my 80th birthday, the fans gave me this flag that says right field Mamacita.
I brought my wife here on our first date.
And no heart beats louder, stronger, and will probably break harder.
Let's go, Oakland!
For those then in the bleachers, the most loyal fans with their own drum line and flag flyers. They had the tissues ready.
One of the saddest days of my life. I'm losing what I've been doing since I was a little kid.
At times, you couldn't even go half an inning without "Sell the Team" chants.
Sell the team!
We asked fans, will they come to Sacramento?
For what they're leaving behind here, it's not worth it for us to follow them.
The idea of seeing the A's play anywhere else would just be crushing. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
And for the very last time, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" rang out in the Oakland Coliseum. They played out the fans and the players to the tune of Celebration. The end of all major league sports in Oakland. The Raiders, the Warriors, and now, for the last time, the Oakland Athletics.
1, 2, 3 times you're out at the whole ball game.
After the game, the A's manager came out and thanked everyone. So the very last thing heard in the Coliseum was "Let's go, Oakland." The next time the A's throw out a pitch at a home game, it'll be in West Sacramento at Sutter Health Park. Reporting in Oakland, Devin Truby, ABC10.
Such an emotional day. Nice job with that story, Devin. Well, now for the game itself. The A's wrapped up a homestand against the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, here's ABC10's Kevin John with the highlights.
Well, the day Oakland A's fans were dreading is finally here. The final home game here at the Coliseum. But don't think for 1 second this is a funeral. Over 40,000 fans all came out to celebrate this team and cheer on the team that called this place home ever since 1968. Well, it's a beautiful day for baseball at the Coliseum. One last rodeo for these A's fans. A sellout crowd of 46,889 filled the Coliseum to bid the A's farewell, many celebrating the team, while others, like you see right here, sharing some strong messages. Now check this out. Throwing out the first pitch were none other than A's legends, Ricky Henderson and Dave Stewart. To the game now. The A's did most of their damage in the bottom of the third. Here with the bases loaded, J.J. Bleday grounds into the fielder's choice. That scores Jacob Wilson. Later, Shea Langolier's up to bat. He belts the sacrifice fly to left field. That scores Lawrence Butler. And the A's are in business. After the Texas Rangers scored 2 in the 6th, we're going to fast forward to the end of the game. Mason Miller on the mound for the A's. And that right there is the final out. A's win their finale in Oakland 3-2.
It meant a lot. Just, to have all, the whole Oakland family there today with us behind us. The energy was amazing.
Well, this chapter of A's baseball officially comes to an end. The next time the A's play baseball in Northern California, it will be in West Sacramento at Sutter Health Ballpark. At the Oakland Coliseum, Kevin John, ABC 10 Sports.
Meanwhile, a big announcement from Sacramento State today. The university plans to build a new football stadium. ABC 10's Alicia Machado has more on the plan after speaking to the president and how students are reacting.
Sacramento State making way for a new 25,000-seat state-of-the-art football stadium. On Thursday, President Luke Wood and the athletics department announcing the plans.
It's a new day for Sacramento State.
The architecture firm Populous will design the facility, the same company that worked on Yankee Stadium and Oracle Park. The new facility will be in the same location as Hornet Stadium, which currently seats around 21,000 people. It will be torn down at the end of the current season.
It's temporary stands that was built, 30 years ago. We were going to need to do something anyways. We just know now that we have a plan to do it.
The stadium will host football, soccer, and rugby games, in addition to commencements and events. This comes amid a push for Sac State to join the Pac-12 conference.
The stadium would be really nice. If I could play in the stadium at least once, I'd be happy.
But not all students are on board.
I think it could be cool, but I also think, it's always a sports thing with schools. It would be nice to kind of see other programs, especially in the arts, get more funding.
I think it's not a good idea just based off initial impressions. My basis for this is because of our tuition increase.
The CSU system approved a tuition increase of 34% over the next 5 years. Sac State students are also set to pay $500 more in campus fees starting fall 2025 and phased in over the next 3 years. When asked, officials would not say how much it will cost to build the stadium, nor elaborate on how much funding they've secured. They also wouldn't provide a timeline. Wood says funding will come from multiple sources, including dollars earmarked for athletic use, donors, naming partners, and co-tenants.
We're fortunate that this won't dip into our general fund.
And the president says they plan to release renderings and financial details in the next few weeks, so stay with us for updates.
A scathing audit earlier this year showed California spent billions on homelessness programs without proving results. It sparked bipartisan conversation. Lawmakers wrote and passed Assembly Bill 2903 in hopes of holding more programs accountable. But Governor Newsom just vetoed the bill. Tonight, ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen joins us in studio to explain what might happen now.
Alex, the bill called for transparency and accountability for homelessness and housing spending. Assemblymember Josh Hoover from Folsom authored the bill, and tonight he tells me his office is going back to the drawing board and blames the governor for getting in the way.
Over the past several months, Governor Gavin Newsom has been calling for action.
If local government's not interested, we're fine. We'll redirect the money to parts of the state, cities and counties that are.
And accountability when it comes to spending to solve the homelessness crisis.
We're strengthening and we're tightening up our efforts around the accountability frame.
Saying this after an audit showed California spent nearly $24 billion on homelessness and housing over the last 5 years, but essentially failed to track any progress. The state's auditor said the state must do more to assess the cost effectiveness of its programs.
A lot of the questions that us as lawmakers, that myself had, were we're spending all this money. We're obviously not getting the desired results. What needs to change in California?
In response, Assemblymember Josh Hoover authored Assembly Bill 2903, a bill that received bipartisan support.
Track every dollar that we're spending on homelessness programs in California and measuring the outcomes of those programs to figure out what is working in our state and what is not working.
But the bill was vetoed by Governor Gavin Newsom. In his veto message, Newsom says he couldn't sign the bill because similar legislation already exists. He pointed to Assembly Bill 166 that requires reporting for 2 of the state's largest homeless programs. However, Hoover says there's more programs to be monitored.
We have over 15 government-funded programs in the state of California that are spending these billions of dollars.
The governor's veto message also adds Assembly Bill 799, addresses the same objectives as Hoover's bill, but is more cost-effective.
I think I actually voted for that bill. I do support that bill, but at the end of the day, we need to do more.
Hoover's office says they are now looking into amending their bipartisan bill in hopes it will make it to the governor's desk again.
And Jeannie joins us right now. Jeannie, obviously you reached out to the governor's office asking why did he veto this bill? What was their response?
Well, Alex, as you heard Assemblymember Hoover, there are more than 2 state programs addressing homelessness and housing. And I also asked the governor's office if he vetoed the bill because the bill's author is a Republican. But a spokesperson for the governor's office responded by just saying the veto message speaks for itself.
A Stanislaus County nonprofit's issuing a plea to the public today. They're asking for help in their mission of feeding hundreds of local families.
Yeah, ABC 10's Gabriel Porras spoke to the organization and has more on how you can help.
It's fajitas for lunch today at the Modesto Gospel Mission.
We pride ourselves on what we serve. Our kitchen manager does a really good job. He loves to do that, full meal, so that when somebody comes in here and eats, they don't feel like they're eating at a homeless shelter. They feel like they're eating somewhere where they'd like to come back to.
But making those types of meals comes with a price tag. The mission goes through nearly 100 dozen eggs and 50 gallons of milk each week. And with pantry shelves less full lately,
your everyday person who comes down to donate, they're not usually bringing those things. They're bringing things like clothes.
It's those full course meals that are at risk.
The big need that we have right now is breakfast items. We're talking bacon, sausage, oatmeal, milk. We fly through those products. And so we are in desperate need, to be honest, right now.
We're a few minutes into lunch and there's still a line of people wrapped around this dining room waiting to get their food. But mission leaders say that some meals get even more busy.
Getting ready for Thanksgiving, where we'll see a couple thousand people come down here for dinner.
Everybody needs nourishment, and this place does a good job at nourishing people.
Mission volunteer Herschel Trevitt knows the power of nourishment all too well. Just a few years ago, he was the one walking through the front doors to get a hot meal and ultimately to turn his life around.
I've just accomplished a lot of goals. I got my medical going. I've even got housing now.
And now nonprofit leaders are hoping the community will step in to help them change more lives.
Being able to provide them with those quality meals, to me, is just incredibly important.
In Modesto, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
And here's the deal. You can take donations to the main building on Yosemite Boulevard in Modesto. They're also accepting monetary donations on their website.
Well, let's bring in Carly now, who is tracking the storm. So many people impacted by this.
Just a major impact, Carly. I know even folks in Georgia are now on alert because this is going to have an impact there as well.
It is. We're looking at that track heading all the way up through several states. As we have been tracking Helene here, it is now a Cat 4 at 130-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And wind speeds here. Now, you need 130 to 156 for that Cat 4. Then 157 on would make it a Cat 5. But we are now seeing it approaching Big Bend there. That bend here in Florida's Panhandle. As you take a look at that right there, that's called Big Bend, making its way up. And we should see it in a matter of just a few hours. Now, the movement of this is at 22 miles per hour. That's actually rather quick. We have seen a lot of these storms, though, stall out, and that causes a lot of storm surge to continue and heavy rain bands continuing to flood inner areas. So the good news is this is moving rather quickly. So if it continues to do so, it's going to have a quick impact. It's going to make a lot of waves and strong and high storm surge for a lot of people, but at least it'll continue its track up. Cat 2 by the time it hits Albany right there, but just take a look as it makes its way toward Atlanta as we start moving into Friday, about mid-morning hours or so, and then eventually a low pressure system as it continues its path toward the north. For us, though, we're on the opposite end of things. We're actually looking at potential fire concerns starting on Tuesday. A weather impact alert day has been issued now for Tuesday as temperatures are expected to reach 100 degrees with hot, gusty winds coming in out of the north, off land. And then please, the need here is just to be fire prepared for Tuesday as temperatures will gradually continue warming up for us from the weekend on into early next week. Just take a look at our fire season comparisons here. The 5-year average, about 6,200 6,400 fires. We're at 6,400, and we have not even moved through fall yet. Now, we're almost at 1 million acres burned, and the 5-year average is about 1 million. So we still have 3 more months to go, and this is prime fire season. Just take a look at the most destructive wildfires in California's history. The 4 top fires are in October and November, the most destructive. Now, we're just now pushing toward October and November, so we still have potential to see fire danger. Please be safe, everyone, as we move through these months with gusty conditions. In the Big Mountain backyard, these upper 80s right now and 79 in Tahoe will start heating up as high pressure is currently in place. Low moves up and over, and then another high is expected to gradually start moving in through the weekend, heating us up. Winds will be light to calm until we start moving through the weekend. About 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts expected. And just take a look at this. As we start moving through, that gradual warm-up continues, and by Tuesday, we get this dark shade here of orange. The 100-degree heat is expected to begin moving in on Tuesday. And then after that, we should start slightly cooling down. We're hoping that this trough here helps us out to cool us down by that following weekend. As we take a look at our temperatures for the valley, we'll be right around these mid to low 90s in the foothills for tomorrow. Overnight lows in the 50s and low 60s. Next 3 days, those mid to low 90s. And then just take a look as we move through next week. We do have that impact day on Tuesday. 100-degree temperatures expected, but hopefully those 80s return by that following weekend.
We cannot stress that enough, though. The fire danger. You want people to be fire prepared in this case.
Please, especially if you have a lot of debris around your home.
That's a really good point. Carly, thank you.
Hello, I'm Matt George. The Sac Joaquin section is rich with great stories every football season just waiting to be told. This week's Northwest Exteriors Game of the Week is a story of redemption and perseverance. 2 schools who last season were struggling to find success. Now they're quite literally perfect. This time last year, the Lincoln Fighting Zebras were 0-4. They won just 1 single game in total. One off-season later, they're 4-0.
I think we took it personal, and we wanted to change that, so that's why we had the hot start, and we wanted to continue it.
With the opening of 12 Bridges High School came the departure of many of Lincoln's top athletes. Those who stayed, including the coaches, were determined to see the Zebras through the transition.
It could have been very easy for myself or other coaches to walk away. We knew what was coming last year, right? New school opens up, and that kind of happens to schools that are nearby. So we knew it was coming. We stayed. We believed in the kids that we had. We knew it was going to be rough, and we just coached extra hard, and I think that's paying off this year.
Paid off is an understatement. But Friday, the Zebras will face their toughest test yet against a Wheatland Pirates team that's also turned their program around. Over the last couple of years, the most games the Pirates have won in a season is 3. Today, they are also 4-0. The secret?
It's tenacity, toughness. They push each other in the weight room, out on the field, day in and day out. There's no plays off. And like you said, kids get a scrape, they water it off, they're back in, pushing, competing.
Record-wise, the start to the season couldn't be any better for the Pirates, but they still believe they have another level they can reach.
Oh, I think we could do so much better. I don't think we've even hit 50% of what we can do, honestly. I think we got a lot more facets we got to open before we really hit the stride and get going.
The Pirates sail into hostile territory Friday night. Lincoln High School and their famous student section, the Zoo, always brings the energy.
I play way better at home. When the atmosphere, it changes everything, so I think this is definitely home field advantage. We think if we do beat them that we will go 10-0 and win league.
But instead of telling you how confident Wheatland is, I'll let Isaac Martin sum it up for you.
I'm expecting them to come for a fight and be nice and aggressive, but we're more aggressive. We're going to punch them in the mouth.
Confidence is at an all-time high for both teams, and they've earned it. Kickoff from Lincoln High School is scheduled for 7:15 p.m. We'll have a full recap of the game tomorrow night at 11.
This Hispanic Heritage Month, we are celebrating the pioneers of change, and we often think of iconic figures like Dolores Huerta or Cesar Chavez, but tonight we're shining a light on local leaders right here in our community. So meet the founders of Corremos Sacramento, a local running group that champions community over competition.
My running journey started back in 1996. I was watching the Olympics in Atlanta, and I saw Michael Johnson running the 400 meters in a very shiny gold cleats. That inspired me to go outside and dig my own little starting line and start sprinting. It just brings me so much happiness and joy just to be out in nature and getting the exercise. We want to start a group here that's local, that's representative to the people that are here, and support one another, because there's not a lot of groups that do that.
Vámonos on three, vámonos on me. 1, 2, 3, vámonos! All right, runners, have a great run.
Corremos Sacramento is a Latino-led walking and running group that kind of prioritizes community over performance. We just want to create a safe space for all bodies and for all backgrounds, for all fitness levels to come outdoors and just empower their walking and running journeys.
If you look at the running community, it lacks diversity.
I think what sets us apart is feels more like a carne asada, like a kickback. And we're just coming out, kind of llevando la leve, and instead of we're just here to run and leave.
So we do meet up 3 times a week, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Monday nights we meet up in front of Fairy Tale Town, expanding from about 20-30 members at the first time that we met to about 60 plus.
I think people show up because they see themselves reflected. For me, I've always been curvier, always been bigger. It's been an insecurity of mine, and so I want to be in spaces where there's people of all body sizes and I feel like we fit in.
It's not necessarily that you have to run. We want you to be active, an active lifestyle. We want to have a fun community here.
I'm guessing it's time for what to watch. Something tells me, yes.
And that is perfect timing because The Wild Robot hits theaters tomorrow.
Marcus Allen is here for more on the movie. Mark, it's sort of a fish out of water type movie, but it's about a robot, and you love it, and a lot of people do.
I'm not alone. Yeah, it's fish out of water. It's a robot out of sorts, because the robot lands on a planet that's only inhabited by wild animals. Thus, you get The Wild Robot and what to watch. Yeah, well, like you said, people are loving it. 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means this movie is a hit, an instant classic to be enjoyed for years. Great voice talent in it. Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill's one of the voices. You've got Pedro Pascal and Academy Award winner Lupita Nyong'o. I caught up with her to talk about this amazing film. Listen.
Was this task accomplished to your satisfaction?
I know you must have been excited to be a part of this project, but having seen it, aren't you that much more excited to be a part of this?
Man, I am so grateful for the choices I have made in my past to say yes to this film. It has really paid off already.
You've done so many iconic live action roles. With that said, is it nice to lay down your voice and then go in and discover this movie for the first time like the rest of us do?
It is work and it is its own special kind of challenge. But here, performance of Roz is built by a number of elements, voice being one of them, but animation being such a huge part of it. And then there's the sound design and the composition of the music, and all these elements dance together to make this story what it is. So this is, I think animation is like a really true exhibit of the group effort it takes to make movies. And it was really beautiful to experience everybody's work for the first time in that way.
All right, from your voice to the world, see this movie because?
See this movie because it will open your heart.
Amen. You are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
California is known for surfing, and this little coastal town is where it was made famous.
Well, it's the birthplace of surfing in California. John Bartel here, making a little pit stop at the Santa Cruz Surfing Museum.
Jumping the cliff at Steamer Lane is almost a rite of passage for any young surfer in Santa Cruz.
This is one of the best surf spots of the world. It's really famous. People know all about it.
The reason it's so famous is because people have been surfing here since 1885, after 3 Hawaiian princes introduced the sport to locals while on vacation.
They brought surfing here, and they'd actually made the boards.
Bob Pearson and Kim Stoner are the founders of the Santa Cruz Surfing Museum, which chronicles Santa Cruz's lengthy and sometimes odd surfing history. What are they wearing? What is going on
They're
here?
all wool sweaters.
They're
Yeah.
swimming in wool sweaters?
They used those to stay warm because there was no wetsuits in those eras.
When the Hawaiians first introduced surfing, they used heavy boards made from solid wood that often weighed hundreds of pounds. It looks like some of these wooden boards, you had a high risk of getting slivers in your feet there.
Yeah, redwood slivers aren't very good.
Bob Pearson is a world-renowned surfboard maker and likes to show museum visitors the progression of surfboard manufacturing.
Years and years ago, there was no fins on boards. So these things act as little fins and hold control.
Surfboard control is something that Bob has mastered. In his younger years, he surfed at Mavericks Beach, which is home to some of the largest waves on the West Coast. And because of his experience, he was asked to make boards for the 2012 film Chasing Mavericks.
What are you talking about? The biggest wave in the world. Mavericks. It's real.
I made them all the boards for the movie, 240 boards.
Bob also acted in the film alongside Gerard Butler and Johnny Weston.
It was all about the local surfers. It was a good story about them. It was accurate as hell. It was a great movie.
More than a dozen surfing-related movies and TV shows have been filmed in Santa Cruz, including Beautiful Wave, Back to the Beach, and Swell. The reason they filmed here is because the waves are consistent.
The nature of the winds and the cliffs here keep this glassy. The kelp keeps it glassy and you get these big swells coming so it doesn't blow out so easy.
The Surfing Museum is not only a tribute to the sport, but the athletes as well.
Right on.
Many of the kids surfing in Santa Cruz today are about the same age as the 3 Hawaiian princes that first surfed these waves back in 1885.
From the Santa Cruz Surfing Museum, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Thanks so much for watching ABC10 Tonight. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC10 Plus app. You can always get your news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Laura Painter. See you next time.
Only on ABC10. Homes left unfinished.
Honestly, it's a crime.
Local families in limbo with hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line.
It makes me feel like they're continuing to do what they want to do, and they can start another business and continue with the scam in another avenue.
How is the company Anchored Tiny Homes involved in projects across the country being held responsible? Watch this special investigation after Monday Night Football at 10:30, only on ABC10.